Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to present our technology. So I just want to present you with a clinical problem, and this does not work, so I'll stay here. With the clinical problem first, which is prostate cancer. As most of you know, prostate cancer is the most commonly diagnosed and second leading cause of cancer death in men in the US. And it is actually more common than you think. 1 in 8 men will develop prostate cancer at some point in their lifetime. And the recent Lancet Commission report on prostate cancer published this August warns governments to be prepared for the huge surge that they expect in the newly diagnosed cases of prostate cancer, going from 1.4 million in 2020 up to 2.9 million for 2040. So prostate cancer biology, prostate cancer is driven by androgen receptor signaling, and AR inhibitors represent currently 90% of all prostate cancer therapeutics, claiming the lion's share of the $11 billion market. This makes AR the most clinically validated target in prostate cancer, and all AR-directed therapies target the ligand binding domain of the protein. However, this is associated with several clinical challenges. Treatment resistance invariably occurs and drives mortality. And actually, believe it or not, this is a direct result of AR-directed therapies because they lead to the expression of AR splice variants that now lack the ligand binding domain and drive resistance. So I'm going to talk to you about AR variant 7, that is the leading cause of treatment resistance and is currently undruggable. We chose ARV7 because it is the most prevalent splice variant, expressed in more than 75% of patients with advanced disease and is constitutively active in the nucleus. This is clinical evidence that patients whose tumors express ARV7 do not respond to current standard of care treatment, as you see here, enzalutamide, abiraterone, and taxanes. So we can say that ARV7 inhibition is an urgent, currently unmet clinical need. However, in the absence of any ARV7 inhibitor, it leaves patients with limited therapeutic options. So we set out to address this gap. To do that, we conducted a physical screening 170,000 small molecules to identify AR small molecule inhibitor. How it works? It degrades ARV7. It also degrades AR protein. And unlike all current AR-directed therapies that bind at the ligand binding domain and still leave ARV7 undruggable, our drugs bind both proteins, and then they target it to the proteasome, which is a shredding machine, and degrade ARV7 and AR and eliminate those proteins. So in case you are wondering what are the advantages of having a degrader versus a small molecule inhibitor, there are several advantages. So small molecule inhibitors cause incomplete and transient target inhibition, and they're prone to resistance. AR is amplified, we get binding domain mutations, and we get the expression of AR splice variants. However, the degrader completely eliminate the target with a potent and rapid onset of action, and they avoid treatment resistance. So to recap, the unique features of our compound compared to all current AR-directed therapies. We have the first and only ARV7 degrader, first and only molecular glue degrader, taking out both AR and ARV7 in a single treatment. We have a unique binding domain that is shared between both AR isoforms, and this domain allows us to treat patients both sensitive and resistant to treatment, as well as patients both early stage and with advanced stage disease. And we know that our inhibitors reverse existing treatment resistance to standard of care treatment, and they have the potential to delay the onset of treatment resistance. So this is a more pictorial illustration of our inhibitor and how it compares to all AR inhibitors, both clinically approved or in preclinical and clinical development, they all target AR. None of them target V7, and none of them can reverse enzalutamide resistance. Our inhibitor does all of this. Perfect. And just to show you where we are, we founded ARMA in 2023. Since then, we have raised $3.5 million in non-dilutive funding to perform a number of critical preclinical in vitro and in vivo experiments. And we're seeking $15 million to bring us all the way to IND clearance before we go into phase 1 clinical studies. This is our team. We have experts in clinical development and business development, and Casey Nicolaou is a chemistry expert that is our advisor. And Sherry is here along with me. And with that, I will take any questions. Yes.
Thank you so much for the presentation. Since you're on the founding team slide, can you share a little bit more about how you met your co-founders and their backgrounds?
Yeah, absolutely. So Sherry and I have been working together in the lab at Cornell for the last 5 years. And with Casey Nicolaou, I have been collaborating for the last 20 years. We have a lot of papers published, and he's a preeminent chemist. He almost got a Nobel Prize for his achievement. So he's amazing.
So did I read that one of the slides showed what the current landscape is in terms of treatments? Am I right in that you guys, there's no other competitor out there that's also pursuing the molecular glue type strategy to attack this?
I would not say pursuing. Many people are pursuing this space, but there is nothing else out there yet that is a glue degrader and takes both AR and ARV7 out. But it's a very active field of investigation. Everybody tries to design glue degraders. You cannot yet design them. They're identified through phenotypic screens like our screen or by serendipity to date.
The IP landscape look like? Do you have the IP that you need to take the product into clinical trials?
So yes, the IP is filed by Cornell, and we will license it out. And I think we'll have a very strong IP.
Sorry, you said you will license it out. You haven't licensed it out yet?
Not yet, because we just filed for IP in August. We're trying to get as much data as possible to go into this. Yes. And we need some more money to advance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about how it was to raise the first, the seed round that you raised?
So it was $3.5 million, $2.4 million from the NIH for STTR, SBIR funding. We got accelerated phase 1 and phase 2 funding. We got about $400,000 to $500,000 collectively from the Daedalus Fund that funds inventions in the Tri-I, Rockefeller, MSK, and Cornell. We got $250,000 from Exceed through another competition, and a few smaller parts here and there. And also eBioventure was our first funding for $50K. We won the pitch a few years ago.
I got one more quick question. So I think in one of the earlier slides, you mentioned that the entire kind of prostate cancer market right now in terms of treatments is like an $11 billion market. So is your treatment, is it going to target 75% of that market? Is that the idea?
At least,
At least.
because we can move earlier on and we can claim the entire landscape. Because early treatments inhibit only AR. Our treatment inhibits AR. And as soon as ARV7 comes up, it will take it out too.